There's one also ANC leader who is arriving. I'm going to ask my colleague Chulo Munare just to take his camera off the tripod, who is arriving to pay his respects at the family home. That is the Speaker of the National Assembly, who's accompanied, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who's accompanied by her husband, Charles Nqakula, as they come and pay their respects here to the family home of the deceased Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress. I am going to ask Mr. Charles Nqakula and also Mayor Nqakula, the Speaker of the National Assembly, also the ANC's National Executive Committee member, just to pay their respects to the legacy of the late Jessie Duarte. Speaker, just the words from you on the passing of the Deputy Secretary General and your leader in the ANC.
It's a very sad day, very painful.
Sorry, my brother.
Reality has hit us. Jessie has been very sick, and we all knew, but we did not expect this. All I would say to you is that we have lost a principled leader of our people. We have lost a fighter for the underdogs in the African National Congress. Jessie would never allow people to destroy you and not spring in to defend you. And that's it. Ugulilu Jessie, let Jessie rest in peace. She is tired. It is okay. We will pick a spear. We will march forward. We've lived with Jessie and worked with Jessie, and we understood Jessie.
Thank you very much, Mayor Nqakula.
Future generations remember her.
Future generations should remember Jessie as a principled leader. That the only way you can lead the people, it is when you are principled. She was highly principled, and she was not a populist. Jessie would always take a position, sometimes against everybody. And she didn't mind being on her own. But she would stick to that position if she believes it is the right thing to do or to say.
Thank you very much, Mayor Nqakula. Condolences to you. Just a word from you, Mr. Nqakula, as someone you've worked with extensively as well. Jessie Duarte.
Well, Jessie Duarte was one of the most dependable people in the ANC, a real true cadre of the movement. The first time I worked directly with her was when I was an organizer for the South African Communist Party. Afterwards, I became the Deputy Secretary, but I had to have a line to President Mandela, who at the time was President of the ANC, because he was, in fact, the biggest donor to the ANC, to the South African Communist Party. Because at the time, the Communist Party did not have adequate resources to run our programs. So we depended to quite a great degree on Mandela's own resources for us to be able to run those programs. And Jessie was the intermediary. So we used to discuss politics with her. And I'm telling you, it is people like Jessie Duarte who would be a better springboard to take the ANC, particularly the youth in the ANC, forward, particularly in this time when it is important to at least work towards making the ANC a real people's organization, servicing the interests of the people.
Thank you very much to you, Mr. Nqakula. Condolences to you once again. And Mayor Nqakula, who is inside, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly, as we've just spoken to him, as he also goes now inside to pay his respects to the family of Yasmin Jessie Duarte, the Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress, who succumbed to cancer. We've also just known that last week she was in intensive care unit. A number of ANC leaders have been sending and were sending her videos and messages of her to get better and get to good health. We do know that the former President Jacob Zuma also 2 days ago sent a video to Yasmin Jessie Duarte, wishing her to a speedy recovery, wishing her to get well and in good time and in good health. Mapisa-Nqakula, now former ANC leader, former ANC member, former General Secretary of the South African Communist Party, former Deputy of the South African Communist Party, former Special Advisor on Defence to President Cyril Ramaphosa, speaking on how younger generations within the African National Congress would have had Jessie Duarte as their springbok in the renewal of the ANC and as a reference point on the type of leader and caliber that the ANC does need. And in fact, we are now waiting for the arrival of the top leadership of the African National Congress, led by its president Cyril Ramaphosa. A number of ANC leaders have already arrived. The road has effectively been barricaded, as my colleague Thulo Munari is showing you, for the arrival of the top 6 leadership of the African National Congress, whom are making their way now here to the family home. We are anticipating that at exactly 12:30 they will be here. I'm going to try and get the Women's League president now, Bathabile Dlamini, and her words that she wants to express to Yasmin Duarte. Bathabile Dlamini, condolences to you, Mama. Just a word from yourself, but she is very distraught. She had a very close relationship with Jessie Duarte as she's walking in. As you'd remember, Mapisa-Nqakula saying that each time Jessie Duarte would want to engage with them, she would call Bathabile Dlamini, call Nomvula Mokonyane, call as well Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini to engage with them as she goes inside the family home, as you can see in her ANC Women's League regalia as she goes inside the family home.
Thank you much indeed for your time there. We will no doubt be coming back.